This is some content just straight out of camera that we actually produced in Chicago at one of our mind-blowing photographic workshop experiences on lifestyle. And this is actually not even edited, just straight out of camera, series of clips, and giving you guys a little idea of some of the concepts we're going to be talking about today. And we're also going to go over not only commercial photography, but also commercial filming as well, because of course that's a big part of being a photographer these days. All right, so as we're having a huge audience jump on, I also encourage you guys to ask a ton of questions, because this is really important. I want you guys to all be as participatory as possible, and I want to hear your perspectives on what we're doing, and I want to know, you know, what kind of pressing questions you have about commercial photography, commercial filming, and what you would want to gain going forward, because this is, you know, we're here for you. We're guiding you guys. We're going to be answering a lot of this important, I know there's a lot of important pressing questions, especially for some of you who are emerging commercial photographers, as well as those of you who are portrait photographers or wedding photographers, and you're trying to transition into the commercial space, which is totally awesome. We have a lot of you guys on here because I know that I get to work personally with quite a few of you that are doing that transition. So this is a really good opportunity to kind of go in depth, and we're going to talk about also some like live like bids on campaigns, as far as, you know, what the numbers actually look like to do high-end commercial photography and what that's all about. Also very, very important. So, all right, guys. And if we're going to have another huge audience similar to what we did last time, I think it was pretty fantastic. The last live webinar we did, we had 240 photographers on live, which was absolutely fantastic. I think we're going to have a nice big audience today as well. All right, guys. So Kevin Michael Schmitz here, and I am conducting this webinar, this live webinar from Hermosa Beach, California, down in the Los Angeles area. And just to give you a little bit of an idea of who I am, if you guys don't know me already, I am a commercial lifestyle photographer. I also have worked as a celebrity fashion photographer. I shoot major ad campaigns for clients. I'm also a TV director, executive producer of the TV show Great Escapes that airs on CBS, actually airs every Saturday on CBS currently. And it's a TV travel show. And I'm also, I shoot a lot of commercial productions featuring a lot of commercial lifestyle as well as fashion. If you guys want to see some of my work, this is one of my main commercial reels for one of my production companies, Indigo Productions.
Adrenaline-filled challenges where it seems there's no way you can make it, but
now, the awesome thing about this video reel, is that we are showcasing a lot of content here. This is just like a couple minutes, and we're showcasing content that we shot with celebrities, content that we shot with for major television commercials, and also my TV show. But what the awesome thing about this is that about half of this content was filmed at our photographic workshops, which is pretty fantastic. So we like to you know, make sure that the content and the quality and the scale of what we're doing at our photographic workshops not only meets the expectations of broadcast quality commercial, but even exceeds those expectations, is even better often than what we are even doing on our commercial campaigns, just because of what we're able to do creatively, which is pretty fantastic.
It's all about what's inside of you.
There are content commercials like that you just saw that were $100,000 campaigns that I've shot. We have $200,000 campaigns. We have a whole wide range. And I also just recently shot a campaign for Burberry about 3.5 weeks ago, which is pretty fantastic. I'm really excited to kind of showcase some of the secrets that I am going to reveal as far as how to become a successful commercial photographer and also commercial director, if that's something that you guys want to do, whether it's in the lifestyle space or in the fashion space. Now that just showcases a little bit about who I am and what I do and what my reels look like, as far as especially for my commercial lifestyle content. And I also want to showcase to you what a commercial lifestyle portfolio, as far as photographic portfolio, is going to look like, because I know many of you guys are photographers. And to give you an idea, I started off, you know, as a basically as more of a landscape and fine art photographer. And I went to school for photography. I did my bachelor's, my MFA to be a professor of photography at the Academy of Art, San Francisco. And I started off shooting landscape and fine art. And then to put me through school, both a college and grad school, I worked as a portrait photographer. I shot portraits, I shot weddings, I shot landscape. I sold art in galleries. I even shot model portfolio shoots, all kinds of stuff, and even product photography. And it was, it was awesome. I was able to have a lot of different experiences along the way, which I thought were very valuable. And it taught me a ton about all different, dynamics of the photographic industry. But most importantly, I started to realize early on that even though I love fashion photography because I love to tell stories, I love to create, I love to be that storyteller and making all these amazing fashion editorial stories come true. And those of you guys that you probably see all our amazing videos and photography in the fashion space. And I started off doing fashion because I love fashion, and this gives you an idea of my fashion brand. And so I'm shooting commercial fashion for major clients. Just like you saw in that video, just like you're seeing here, this is my fashion brand at kevinschmitz.com. But what I started to realize is, although this is something that I really do thoroughly enjoy, I absolutely love lifestyle. I absolutely love shooting lifestyle advertising because for me, I feel like this is really about telling photographic stories that are authentic and real. And for those of you guys who are interested in shooting commercial lifestyle, this is where I landed. Even though I started out in fashion, well, I actually started out in landscape and then portraiture, weddings, all that stuff, and fine art. And then I got into fashion. Then I actually transitioned into lifestyle, and I just have stuck with this ever since. And I am absolutely in love with commercial lifestyle. Now, this is one of my lifestyle brands, and myself as a photographer and director. Now, I started off, transitioning into this. And I started to realize that, hey, like I was lighting it. And when I very, very first started lifestyle photography, I started to light it just like I do a fashion shoot, where I'm bringing in pro photo lights, I'm lighting it just like I would a big fashion story. And I started to realize, like, hey, that's actually not really the best way because it looks too fake, looks too set up. And although it's amazing when I'm shooting fashion photography like this, when I'm shooting lifestyle photography, it's too much, it's too highly lit. It just is too much over the top, too much of a pop. So when I go to lifestyle, I want it to look authentic. I want it to look real. I want it to look natural. I want it to feel like I'm inside of the scene with the models. I want it to feel energized. I want it to feel excitement. I want to feel natural. And most importantly, I want the viewer to be inside of the moment. Okay. And that is absolutely key and critical. And I want to make sure you guys realize this, because this is absolutely so important for you to realize how important the story is, the expressions are in a scene, what we're telling, how this moment is unfolding. Just like you see here, I absolutely love a story like this. Okay. And to do something like this is actually shot at one of our lifestyle photographic workshops, actually in Newport Beach, which we just had the opportunity to do about a week ago. We did an epic, mind-blowing photographic workshop experience in Newport Beach, and it was incredible. We shot with all kinds of top models. I think we shot with like 19 models over the course of the week. We shot with at these $12 million mansions. Just like you see here, we shot with all these different amazing props. We had Highland cows, which were incredible. We shot with baby goats. We've done scenes in the past with alpacas. We've done scenes with reindeer, with Bactrian camels, to having top models. I mean, it has been unbelievable. And it's because the production quality is so over the top. Now, this is one of the top secrets of lifestyle photography and commercial photography is no matter what your photography, where your book comes from, I don't care if it's shot at a workshop or it's shot on a major commercial $200,000 campaign or it's photographed in your backyard, everything has to look like the level of production is world class. Meaning the hair, the makeup, the wardrobe, all of the details that come together to make the story come into reality and feel authentic, real, and highly produced. Okay. And it doesn't matter at where you shot it, as long as the aesthetic and the final brand has that sense and that feel that it is high end. And that's what we're looking for constantly. We're always looking for that high end feel, just like you saw in those commercial reels, and just like you're seeing here in this body of work. And for me, the image that has made me more money than anything else in my career is actually this image. That's why it still stays on the front page of my website, is I absolutely love to tell this story where I feel authentic and connected to these models. And when I show this image to an advertising agency, creative director, art buyer, who are the people that are the decision makers at ad agencies hiring photographers on $200,000 campaigns, they are looking for content like this. There's a little bit of diversity, there is energy, there is emotion, and it does not feel set up. It doesn't feel like it is just something that is, hey, go over there, pose like this, I'm gonna take a picture. Okay, so it's really important to realize that we want to make sure that it feels natural and the production level is world-class. And okay, so that's not easy. What do we do? How do you get production at this level? How do you get models at this level? Or if you're shooting fashion, how are we able to shoot scenarios like this with some of these big time supermodels? Where do they come from? Okay, well, the key is being able to build a body of work that it transcends just your photographic brand, but it's something where what I call photographic currency. Okay, so photographic currency is essentially having content that is so epic that it makes people like, oh, wow, okay, I'm willing to work with you because of who you are and because I see what you have on your website. Now I'm going to put you at the top of the list. Okay, but if you're say a portrait or wedding photographer, you know, in rural Nebraska or something, and you're contacting elite models in New York, you know, or Ford models in LA, and you're contacting them and saying, hey, I want to book your models for a photo shoot, the likeliness of them giving you those models, offering top A-list models, is pretty low. It's pretty unlikely. However, if you are like one of our many photographers, many of our world-class successful photographers that have mind-blowing images that are so over the top because they created them with me, that I art directed them with them, and I gave them an opportunity to photograph top supermodels that have been in Versace campaigns, Dolce & Gabbana campaigns. They've shot in Vogue, Vanity Fair, Harper's Bazaar. When they have that opportunity to shoot content at that scale, at that quality, it changes everything. It absolutely changes everything. Okay. So, I want to make sure that you guys realize that it is all about creating content with the scale and production quality that you see here. With quality, okay, scale, meaning that you can tell that the hair and makeup is world-class, that the wardrobe stylist was on point. Like, for instance, we're directing an epic fashion workshop next week in Vegas. I am bringing in a top fashion stylist from Milan who is styling, who is out of this world. We're bringing in wardrobe from Burberry. We're going to have wardrobe from Dolce & Gabbana. We're going to have unbelievable fashion styling on the production. And we're going to be shooting with these top models that we're flying in. It's going to be mind-blowing, shooting on a cracked earth desert and creating unbelievable content. But see, that's where the production value comes in, is creating content at that scale. Okay. And with that, when we have production, just as you see here, and our photographers, for instance, that have attended these experiences, they have that level. It's almost that chicken or the egg thing. If you don't have the massive scale production content in your portfolio, you can't land the $200,000 campaigns, period. That's just the way it is. I was even having a strategy session with a photographer this morning that I was talking to and guiding and consulting with him. And, it was interesting because the guy, he used to shoot events, and many of you guys probably shoot events and portraits. And of course, during COVID, all that stuff dried up. He has this great portfolio of fashion photography, but it's local Chicago photography with photography that is just of portraits and model tests, and it's very obvious that it's model tests. And although he's a talented photographer, the challenge is it's going to be really hard for him to kind of escalate to the next level without world-class production. Because if he doesn't have the A-list models and stylists and production in his body of work, in his portfolio, how is he going to get there? how is he going to land those large scale projects? And that's why I strongly urge you guys to invest in your photography. Okay. And I don't mean equipment. Don't waste your money on buying lenses, buying new cameras, buying just, the newest gadgets. It's not worth it. What I encourage you to do is invest in developing your photographic portfolio, invest in your video production reel. And although, these are massive scale productions, just like these epic experiences that you're seeing here, where the scale of these are about $100,000 a day productions as far as the production level. So over a 5-day workshop, you're looking at like a $500,000 level of production of quality. It's pretty expensive to do that on your own. And that's one of the beautiful things about what we're doing here at the Photography Workshop Series, and what we have for the last 13 years and have directed over 150 of these workshops, is that we're giving our photographers the opportunity to shoot the greatest lifestyle, commercial grade, and fashion images they've ever shot in their lifetime, to essentially completely make them transcend wherever they thought they were to where they want to be. Okay. And that is absolutely key, critical, and it is something that I want to showcase to you guys, because I'm so proud of where our photographers are, how far they've come, how successful some of our photographers have become. And I measure ourselves not just in the quality of the epic experiences we put on, but it's in the success stories of our photographers that have attended. And that, to me, is everything. Now, I want to answer some of these questions before I get into this, because we have some great questions. Okay, so I know that many of you guys are shooting weddings and portraits, or emerging photographers and stuff like that. Let me go back here. I think this was a great one. Tanya Malat said, what was Kevin's big break? Did he have any connections in the business, or was he starting cold with a portfolio? Great question, Tanya. So in response to that, I want to tell you, I started off as just this punk kid. I grew up in a little rural town of 2,000 people in rural West Michigan, and I had no money. My parents they didn't pay for anything. I didn't have the money to invest they didn't help me out with anything. So I had to do everything from scratch. I had to develop I had to go to school, go to college, go to grad school, take out about $150,000 in debt. I had to buy all my equipment with more debt. I had to move down from San Francisco down to Los Angeles, because I moved to grad school in San Francisco, then moved down to LA, and just went all out. I'm like, all right, I have no money. I have $150,000 of debt. And then I actually put myself in more debt, buying equipment. But I bought just what I needed, just a camera and a couple of lenses. I have my 17-40, my 24-70, and my 70-200. I think I waited on the 70-200, but I started off with a 17-40 and 24-70. And with my Canon camera, one camera, that's all I had. And then as I started booking jobs, I used the money from the production budget of those jobs to buy more gear. And that's what I'd strongly recommend you guys do, is don't just waste your money on buying equipment when you don't have a client paying for it. I always buy equipment when I have a client paying for that equipment, meaning that I get a rental budget in my budget when I'm booking a job. And then in that rental budget, obviously, I would rather buy it and own it than to rent it, right? So now I own, this is another secret of commercial photography, is that every shoot that I do, I am making a huge margin on the shoot from my production expenses, meaning all of my equipment. So for instance, if I'm shooting, let me actually bring up some examples, because I have some large scale campaigns, some recent ones that I want to showcase to you guys. And I showed some of my photographers at the last workshop we directed, but I want to show you guys. I have a campaign for this fashion brand out of the East Coast. And this is the budget. So we have this was actually the last one that we did for Unice, is actually a beauty brand. And this one is a African-American brand for hair, and it was $100,000 job. This one, actually, we're booking another one. We actually have another one that's $150,000 this time. But as you can see, all these rental expenses, from my cameras to my lenses to the computer, my lighting equipment, all this stuff, I'm renting it back to myself. So my rental totals here, $6,200, all that goes right back into my pocket, because I own the vast majority of this. There's a few things that I'm going to rent, but the vast majority is my equipment. So I'm renting it to myself. Okay. I'm also a lot of these other things such as production expenses and crew. I'm also billing my client for the different roles that I play throughout the production because I'm producing it, I'm directing it, and I'm also cinematographer in this case because this is a video one. But whether it's photographic or video, I'm going to be putting myself as a couple of roles, and I'm going to be paying myself as multiple roles within the budget. So because I can wear many hats, right? I'm also billing for digital processing because of course, hard drives are expensive, and I'm, $200. In fact, now they're actually even more expensive. So I probably up that. But that's $800 because I have to put the storage, the content on storage. I pay for insurance every year. So I have to bill for that. I've got all these different casting fees because I have casting. I'm casting for the talent. I'm going to be doing that. That goes right back into my pocket. Okay, so about $3,400. Now I have to rent a casting studio that might cost me $1,000. The rest of it is all going in my pocket. And then of course fees, usage, and creative. This is where a lot of the money is made for commercial photographers. So for many of you guys who shoot consumer, or you're shooting headshots, or shooting model portfolios, or editorials, or you're working with influencers or whatever, this is where a lot of the money is made, within the creative and the usage. Okay, really, really important. So I want you guys to realize that this is where you as a photographer not only can make more money on the shoot, but you can make a lot more of the money on the back end of the shoot too. Okay, because afterwards we can, if they want to buy more usage and they want to put the images or the video in more places, then you can make more money from it. Okay, so yeah, and you guys are all making some great comments. You say, Perez, oh, wow, I hadn't even thought of hard drive expenses. Absolutely, you say, like hard drive, camera equipment, everything. Okay, Linda, great to see you. It was awesome. Linda Barrett, she just joined us at this epic workshop last week and a half ago in Newport, which was epic. Okay, great. Let's see some other questions here from Christopher Turney. Okay, do you find or have found in the past that you have to educate clients on what a shoot costs? Absolutely. I do that every single time. Okay. I'm always educating clients. Absolutely. Christopher, that is part of being a commercial photographer and director, is I am educating my clients, because a lot of times they don't really understand the cost of production. But when you start realizing, when you start itemizing, you start bringing all this stuff in, then they start to understand. Then if they ask, if they're like, well, that's too much. And then it's like, okay, what aspects of this itemized budget do you want to remove? What, you don't want the models? You don't want equipment? You don't want to do a casting? The location, where you're going to shoot it? You know what I mean? All these details, they're all important. They're all vital. And the usage is standard because it's based upon, and generally I do a 10 to 15% usage fee based upon, it's 10 to 15% of the media buy. That's standard. Okay, so in this circumstance, as well as this other one I'm going to show you, there is some huge opportunity. I'm going to show you some secrets here of how you can make some insane money as a commercial photographer and director that many of you have never even thought of. And if you're interested in this kind of stuff, I'm going to go deeply into this in some of our business workshops and also at some of our upcoming in-person experiences. They're going to completely blow your mind. Okay, so if you guys are interested in that, I have some really juicy stuff for you guys to go over, and it is absolutely key and critical. In fact, while we're talking about this, let me show you a whole nother budget. This one's $194,000 budget for another campaign. So, $194,000, it's a 2-day shoot. This is another massive scale budget. But here's the thing. In addition to this $200,000 job, I'm going to be making significantly more because I've obviously been a part of this as a director, producer, cinematographer, and photographer, because it's doing both video and photography. But I'm also, in addition to that $200,000, to me, that is actually a small part of how much I'm making on this job. Because as many of you guys don't realize, the real money is in the final placement of the content. So as many of you guys, photographers, don't even realize, but when you're shooting for a project, I don't care if you're shooting a campaign for Pepsi, you're shooting a campaign for Unice or Sassy, or you're shooting a campaign for Burberry like I did, the real money is going to be spent from the client, usually through an ad agency, directly to the media companies. Essentially, they are buying space on billboards. They're buying space in print magazines. They're buying space, if it's video, that's going to be buying it on major television networks. Now, this project, we're going to be putting it on Bravo, BET, Gala, which is a Spanish network, as well as lifetime. So because it's targeting a female audience. Now of that, because it's this huge budget, okay, with with all aspects of this, we're doing this huge media buy. So in addition, since the client is not doing this directly with an ad agency, I am dealing with them directly, and I'm working as their agency. And you can do this. So if you have a client, and this is for all of you out there, they have small to medium-sized clients that don't have an ad agency to represent them. I know many of you guys have clients that don't have an ad agency involved. That's your opportunity, because I guarantee you they're going to be spending usually 10 times more than the production budget, 10 to 15 times more than the production budget on the media placement. So most of the money is going to be spent and wasted on the placement. So let me give you an idea of what this means. This means that I am, in this circumstance, I'm going to be handling between a $750,000 and a $1.5 million media buy for this client. Okay. So because of that, I am getting a usage fee on that. I'm getting a 15% usage fee plus, because it's my content, plus I'm getting a 10% buying fee for the content because I'm doing the media placement. And then I have a negotiation with the TV networks on the back end. And I do the same thing with print magazines, billboards, et cetera, for photography, where I am also handling the media buy. So I get a 15% on the back end from the client. Okay. So because of all of this, it now ends up being, I'm getting essentially 40% of the 1.5 million. And if you want to see what that looks like, I will actually show you. So this is all in real time. These are all real numbers and real projects and stuff like this. But this is the actual media budget, $1.5 million through my company. And essentially, it's a $1.5 million media buy, but I am getting I'm charging a 10% for the media buying fee, a 15% for the usage, and then I'm getting 15% on the back end directly from the client. So as you can see here, that's where all this money is coming from, $1.5 million budget. And in the end, I'm making about, $550,000 on the job when it's all said and done between the media buy and the actual campaign. So this is what I'm talking about, guys. This is why I want to help you take it to the next level. This is why I'm revealing, and I never do this, revealing these kind of secrets that most photographers and directors have no idea about because they've never even tried it. But I think bigger. I think outside of the box, and I want you guys to think about that too. Okay. So, and for those of you guys who are wedding and portrait photographers, now is your opportunity to take a stake in the commercial space. Because right now, more money is being spent than ever before in history in commercial photography, and it is absolutely crushing in the commercial space. It is absolutely vital. And by the way, guys, if you guys are interested in any of this stuff I'm talking about, or getting involved in one of these massive scale production photographic workshops where you get to shoot the greatest images of your lifetime, then I'd strongly recommend get involved. And I would love you guys to just answer in the poll that we're asking, how likely are you guys be to enroll in one of these photographic experiences? If you guys are interested in anything that we have, because we have workshops on the business side, the marketing side, branding, retouching coming up on April 9th. We've got storytelling and art direction. And then of course, these mind-blowing experiences in Las Vegas, New York, masterclass in LA. We've got my French castle, which, because I've had a lot of success doing all these massive scale productions, I was able to buy a 49-room castle in France. And now we are using this as a filming location. I'm also using it as high-end venue for luxury weddings from $300,000 to $3 million weddings. And I'm using it as, of course, our premier venue for our French castle photographic workshop experience. That's on high-end fashion, bringing in supermodels from Milan and Paris. And this is an amazing experience. So if you guys are interested in any of these things, let us know in the polls. Absolutely important for you guys to, give us your perspective, because I'd love for you guys to tell me. But guys, I want you guys to really start thinking about that. A lot of amazing questions. Please keep asking the questions, and we will try to get to as many of these as possible, because there are some really, really good ones. Okay, so. Okay. Yeah. And Lisa Broyles, you have your assuming we have more information about any of these upcoming experiences, absolutely, and the cost as far as enrollment in the workshops. I'd love to tell you about that. The photographic experiences, they are incredible. They are literally the greatest photographic workshops in the world, bar none. And that's why we've been around for 13 years. And we've taken photographers. For instance, we've had portrait photographers, and many of you guys are on here right now are portrait photographers, wedding photographers that wanted to be commercial photographers, right? We had a photographer named Charles, and Charles came to me. He's from South Carolina, and he was like, "Hey, Kevin, I really want to be a top photographer." I said, "Great. All right. What do you want to do?" He's like, "I want to shoot for Vogue. I want to move to Brazil and be a top fashion photographer." So I'm like, "Okay, let's make that happen. Let's make your dream a reality." So after working with us, he came to one of our commercial photography workshops in LA. He went to one of my fashion workshops in New York. He did a one-on-one with me, and now he's shooting for Dolce & Gabbana. Okay. And these are the kind of success stories that I am proud about. This is why I do this. This is why I live and breathe the photography workshop series, in addition to all the other things that I do, because I am passionate about helping photographers pursue and achieve the kind of success that they never even thought possible, literally manifesting their dreams in photography. And you can go ahead and, of course, see that on photographyworkshopseries.com. You can actually take a look at everything that we have. We have past graduates. We have panelists, which are the panelists that come in and actually speak at our workshops, that are top photography agents that represent photographers, to ad agency creative directors, to art buyers. We've got all these amazing people. And then we also, of course, have all of the awesome stuff on our on TV section. And there's amazing videos on there. And then, of course, obviously the workshops themselves. So mind-blowing experience. And I'd love for you guys to get involved and shoot the greatest images you've ever shot in your lifetime. In fact, what we're doing next week, and for those of you guys who have any interest in this, we have a spot that opened up for Vegas. If you guys did want to join us, it is next week. We're going to be on location on a cracked earth desert. And this is what we shot last year. We're going to be at that location. We're going to be shooting with mind-blowing supermodels who are flying in from LA and New York. We're going to be photographing with these incredible productions. And I have some of the best wardrobe in the world from the biggest designers that I have bringing in. And I'm also bringing in a top stylist from Milan. Now, granted, this is a fashion workshop. We also have epic lifestyle workshops on commercial lifestyle coming up in Miami Beach in April next month. We also have one in DC in May. And then we have our experience in June in Chicago, which is both on lifestyle commercial photography and fashion photography. So if any of this is interesting to you, I would strongly recommend you get involved and talk with us. Now, one thing I would suggest is that we have a team of professional photographic consultants that are at your fingertips. And these are consultants that I have I've worked with for years, some of them, and some of them are new to our team, but we have some incredible people on our team. And whether you're talking with Lisa or Priscilla or Anne or Shelly or any of the other amazing Taylor, any of the amazing people on our team, I strongly encourage you guys to set up a one-on-one strategy session with one of our professional photographic consultants. And I think that it will completely transform your perspective in photography. And it's something that I'm really excited about because we are offering some amazing, amazing experiences. Okay, so if you guys are interested in that, we're going to put some links up in the chat. And I strongly recommend you guys, get involved. And then, of course, also subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. So if you guys haven't subscribed to that already, I'm gonna put this in the chat, and then we'll also. So first of all, I'd love you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got over 40. I think we have about 41 webinars in there on all different topics of photographic experiences, secrets of fashion, manifesting your dreams in photography, all aspects of retouching business. I mean, we have all kinds of amazing things to give you a taste of all of that. And I think that it'd be a fantastic opportunity for many of you guys to get involved. So if you guys want to see all of that, I recommend it because we have some incredible webinars and they're there for you guys to enjoy because they're all free, because we love to give content, but we also obviously have these amazing in-person experiences that are on another planet as far as quality. And that's what I'm obviously really excited about, because those photographers that attend these workshops, they take it to the next level. Okay. They take it to an entire new world where they never even thought possible. And that's where a lot of the big successes come from. And I'm so, so incredibly proud of our photographers because of everything that they're doing. And if you guys want to set up a one-on-one strategy session, I would, I actually would like to call these a photographic momentum session. And I want you guys, you can go over your photographic portfolio, you can go over your business, any aspect that you feel is important to you in your photography. We have professional photographic consultants standing by, and you can even get on with one today and talk with your strategies and how you can achieve to become a world-class commercial photographer, whether it's in lifestyle, whether it's in fashion photography, whatever it is, we're here to help you. This was shot at our Vegas workshop last year, by the way. And also, obviously this one as well. I think we ended up getting published in 3 different major international publications. And we also won, the photographers that attended the workshop won in the top 10 fashion photographers in America award. And we also had some win in the top 10 in the world awards in the One Island Awards. We also had photographers win in communication arts, Loeser's Archive, and the Color Awards, which was pretty incredible. So these are the experiences. They are completely over the top. And we have options to do anywhere from 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, or 5 days. Highly recommend, of course, do all 5 days in the experiences. And we have workshops this month. We have one April, May, June. We've got August, September, and October for our ending in our Elite Masterclass, which is our most over the top massive scale production of the year. But these experiences obviously are on another level. So different type of photography. Obviously we have fashion, but then we also have the amazing commercial workshops specifically on commercial lifestyle. And those are the ones that I also strongly recommend that you guys attend, because commercial lifestyle is where all the money is. Those are the kind of jams. Now, granted, a lot of these jobs I'm showing you are kind of a mix. They're kind of lifestyle fashion shoots. And those are the jobs that I've been getting booked on just because I kind of do both. So that I've been being booked on all different types of things that are both. And that's why I'm so busy right now, because the jobs are coming out of the woodwork. Clients are spending more money than they ever have in history. Okay. And here you go. This is a good example of, like, this is the DC workshop coming up. I think this one's either sold out or might have one spot left, but this one's a super popular workshop. It's the first time we've ever done the DC workshop, and all these images were shot on location at our lifestyle workshops, including Newport Beach, the Masterclass, Chicago, and Denver. So it'll give you kind of an idea of what I'm talking about. But as you can tell, some of the secrets here of lifestyle and commercial photography is that we are telling stories. And each iconic image that you see here, you feel as though you're inside of the scene with the models. Okay. It's not just like, hey, I'm going to take a portrait where the person's way over there and they're posing and looking at camera. These are sequences where I'm inside of the scene with the talent. And that's what gets really exciting. Okay. So, all right. And you guys are asking, of course, a whole bunch of awesome questions. All right. So, and Lisa, yeah, you've been looking for a shoot with a horse in fashion. Well, we have been doing that at literally just about every workshop over the last year. We've incorporated unbelievable horses with, from rearing horses to dappled horses to, we've even had miniatures. We've had all kinds of incredible things at our workshops, camels, Bactrian camels, and we have all kinds of amazing things. And we can create just mind-blowing experiences for you. So really awesome to have you guys ask all these questions. Okay, Tanya Malat says, are your workshops suitable for an experienced pro as a total or as a total beginner? I've been shooting fashion, wedding, portraits, commercial for 30 years. My son is beginning as a videographer. I wonder if we could do it together. Great question, Tanya. You know what? I strongly recommend that you do one of our main section 5-day workshops with your son. We have that happen a lot. We have a lot of people enroll together. The masterclass is kind of the most high tier workshop of the year. And we recommend that it's for, photographers that have taken like at least 1 or 2 main section workshops first before attending the elite masterclass. But I think that any of these other upcoming workshops, whether it's Vegas or Miami or DC, they would be perfect for both world-class, highly experienced photographers have been shooting for 30 or 40 years, as well as new photographers and videographers. We also, just so you know, we bring in professional camera operators at every one of our workshops. And you will be working personally operating camera on set, and you'll be actually able to film, you and your son, for instance, with an 8K a camera and film mind-blowing content that you'll get to use for your high-end video reel, just like you've been seeing here. So Tanya, I'd strongly recommend you set up one of those strategy sessions with one of our photographic consultants, and they can talk with you. And I also bring your son on so that we can talk with him. And I can tell you what, from somebody who actually came from it as a young person and did my entire photographic education, I have to say that one of the main reasons I developed the photography workshop series, you guys, was for this reason alone. Photographic, when you go to school for photography or for videography, you show up, you end school with nothing. All you have is a crappy student portfolio and a ton of debt. And I realized that. Now I learned a lot and became knowledgeable. That's true. But a lot of what I learned was actually on my own in the industry. I assisted and interned under world-class photographers, and I started to kind of like climb the industry on a side note outside of education. I'm glad I did it, but I have to say, one of the main reasons I started the photography workshop series 13 years ago is I saw a huge need for it. I realized that instead of spending $150,000 on your education and getting out with nothing that's valuable and nobody cares that you even went to school for it in the first place, I realized that I could create something like the photography workshop series that I guarantee you'll gain more in a 5-day workshop experience with me than any 4-year university in photography anywhere in the world, guaranteed, without a shadow of a doubt. And the reason being is that you'll walk away from our workshop with a mind-blowing photographic commercial grade portfolio that'll give you the opportunity to land a campaign tomorrow, and the business and marketing skills to go along with it, because that's what we're here for too. And in addition to these epic photographic experiences, not only are the 5-day intensive where we actually shoot on all 5 days, but we also have incredible virtual workshops that go along with it. So when you enroll in a 5-day workshop, you also get one of our 6-hour intensives on photographic branding, photographic marketing, photographic closing the deal and booking more clients. We also have one on storytelling and art direction, and we have one on retouching. So if you're interested in any of those, they're all 6-hour intensives each, and it's in addition to the photographic 5-day experience. And normally it's $12.95, but when you enroll in a 5-day workshop, you actually get it included for free. And the reason we do that is we want to encourage our photographers the business side of it, because it's not just about taking pictures. Okay, photography is also about the business side. All the kind of secrets that I'm talking about. It's about being able to sustain yourself, because you're a creative person and you deserve to make money as a photographer. So you got to make sure that if you want to do this and you really care about yourself and your future, that you invest in your photography, you invest in yourself, you invest in developing your photographic portfolio and your video reel to the highest level of your potential, so that you can continue doing what you love, that you can continue being a successful photographer. Because to me, that is absolutely key. You don't want to have to, sacrifice your love and your passion to do something that you really don't want to do. You want to do what you love to do. I know I do. I wouldn't want to sacrifice it for anything. This gives you an example of one of our Miami resort lifestyle workshop experiences. This is shot on location with 3 of the absolute top models down in Miami Beach. These are world-class A-list models from the top agencies like Elite and Wilhelmina. And we were able to shoot this on location at the SLS Miami and create this mind-blowing photographic experience where our photographers walked away with the greatest resort lifestyle images they've ever shot in their life. And we shot swim as well. So this year, half of the workshops on swim, half the workshops on commercial lifestyle. If you only are interested in commercial lifestyle, you can take just the commercial lifestyle sections, no problem. If you're only interested in swim, you can just take swim. If you want to do all of it, I suggest doing all of it to give you that experience. But this is also an amazing opportunity, and we're here to create this experience so that you will shoot the best portfolio you ever thought possible. But it is absolutely key to be able to shoot at that level of production. This is also on a swim day of the Miami workshop, to give you an idea. This is shot with top supermodels from Miss Brazil to models from Playboy, from the Guest campaign. This girl's from Playboy. We also brought in girls that have been in Sports Illustrated, some of the best models in the world, and it took our photographers to another level. So if you guys, you know, are ready to kind of become more successful commercially in your photography, whether you're shooting swim, whether you're shooting lifestyle advertising, whether you're shooting fashion, this is the answer for it. And that's why we designed the workshops specifically for this, so that you can gain those massive scale productions that we're talking about, those huge massive scale $200,000 jobs. They're out there, but you got to be prepared to get there. Okay, so absolutely key. Okay, so all right, Robin Jones asked some questions. What about making money with normal photos of regular people, just normal people? Great, great question. Absolutely. You know what, Robin? You know, I get booked all the time by clients that want that normal look. Okay, but what normal look looks like in reality is lifestyle models. Okay, there's still going to be top models by agencies, and even if you have plus models, they're still models from agencies. Okay, so it's still going to be top models from agencies, and even if they're trying to achieve that real people look, I do that all the time. In fact, the campaign that I shot, that I was actually just showing you guys, was specifically that's what they were going for. The client wanted more of a real people look. Now, granted, they still cast, you know, thin, you know, attractive African-American women that were relatable, but that's what they're looking for. So just so you know, if you are going to try to shoot like real normal people, you still have to book models and shoot models at the highest level if that's what you want to do, because that is what that is exactly what the clients are looking for. They still, or they book what we call real people models, which is another category where, you know, they look, they can model and they have a great look. But maybe, you know, they might not be, you know, fashion models. They're more like real authentic models. But this gives you an idea. This was actually that Unice campaign, that $100,000 job that I shot. So it's relatable and everything. But this is what I'm talking about. Still, Robin, if you want to shoot those type of clients, you still have to book real models to be able to land those kind of jobs. That's just the way it is. You know, clients are looking for that, you know, because you're dealing with a high-end aesthetic here. So you've got to be able to create that. So I'm glad you asked that question. So because I get asked that a lot. And it is the case. I mean, regardless of what a client says, they still are going to want, you know, top models at the end of the day and top talent, even if they're plus size or even if they are more normal or real people, they still are going to hire professionals because it does make a big difference. Okay. So, all right. So Lisa asked, what is the link for commercial lifestyle? I think you're referring to, Lisa, why don't you ask me if you're interested in the link for enrolling in the photographic workshop experience. We can definitely hook you up with that. And I definitely recommend that you set up a strategy session with one of our consultants, and we can talk about that. I know Priscilla's answering a lot of these questions in the Q&A, and I'd love to bring her on. Now, without further ado, I do want to bring on some panelists to talk about some of this stuff, because I'd love to hear their perspectives. And I know we have an amazing photographer on named Andre Flewellen. And Andre, he just attended the second workshop with us in the last year. And Andre, it's been an absolute pleasure to work with you. You're an amazing photographer. You're a great energy. And you're somebody that I really love the way you approach the workshops, because Andre, not only are you a talented photographer, what I love is that you're always looking to grow and learn. You're always looking to become better. And I remember the first workshop you did with me in Miami, you were like, hey, Kevin, you know, show me how to do this. What are you doing to direct the models? What kind of poses are you looking for? And you would shadow me because you really wanted to know what that secret sauce is. And you did it more than any of the other photographers there. And I really appreciated that, Andre, because I felt like what you gained out of that was even greater because you were so participatory in it. So Andre, I want to bring you on and I want to, you know, talk to you a little bit about, you know, your experience in getting into commercial lifestyle, because I know you've done two now. You've come to Miami Beach, you've come to the Newport Beach workshop experience. Tell me about those experiences and kind of what you gained and what you felt like at the experience.
Well, when I first did the first one, it was Miami, and I didn't really know what to expect. So I wanted to hang out and see how you did everything. And I was really curious to see how your vision and how you did everything. And that was like pretty overwhelming. And I was totally impressed with everything. The scenes are awesome. The girls were beautiful, very, very reactive, more than willing to work with you. The last workshop, outstanding. I mean, the scenes that you came up with, dude, I don't know how much Red Bull you've been drinking, but I can tell you by the last day, I was like, wow, I'm beat. But show must go on. Like that scene there, I thought with the girls running out of that house and all that, that was cool. It was just, be honest with it, this is more over the top than the first one, the Miami Beach was real cool. I didn't know what I was expecting. I kind of had a little bit more of a feel what was going on, and I have to look at the photos for my first one. I kind of know what I wanted to do with the second one. I know what I wanted to do a little bit more, and I knew I had to be a little bit more interactive, but I wasn't really too sure how to do it the first time because I'm kind of a loud dude. And when I get going, I'm gone. I'm either on or off. So what made me want to do lifestyle is because as a photographer, where I'm at in Philadelphia, I do a lot of PR work for public relations, and I do events. I mean, that's and public relations. You're doing headshots, you're doing corporate brochures and offices and all that. And so, the reason why I wanted to go into the lifestyle part of it, because I wanted to really see how lifestyle really goes compared to what when I started doing it 30 years ago, and it's totally different. I mean, we went from film to digital. Now you got the mirrorless. So, I mean, all the technology's changing, but still comes down to creativity. Comes down to how you react. To me, it still comes down to creativity. And since I've done the workshop and I've been applying and trying to talk to people, since I changed my website, I got more people like, yeah, let's talk. And then, maybe, but now people are like, yeah, let's talk. What days you want to talk? So I got more people, more interested people interested in my photos. Because I have to say, I looked at the photos I shot in Miami and I shot this last couple of weeks. All my other photos are basically in the archives somewhere. I mean, I've been doing this stuff for years. I shot Eagles games, sporting events. I shot 14 years for a newspaper. And then when that went out of business, I'm like, what am I going to do? And my mode has always been keep moving or be eaten. I mean, if you stand still, you're going to get passed by. So when you guys reached out to me to do the workshop, and I started looking at it, I said, you know what? Take a chance, invest in yourself. Worst comes to worst, you got a nice vacation, some beautiful photos. That's what I looked at it. If all else fails and everything else, hey, this is a nice vacation. Miami Beach, come on, folks. Newport Beach, wow. California, and I'm in Philadelphia.
And you're coming to some more. When we're seeing you next, Andre?
Well, it's either going to be DC, but I'm actually thinking I have to look at the photos. I wouldn't mind trying one of those fashion ones.
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, I did the lifestyle, I did 2 lifestyle. I'm looking at the photos I did, and poor Priscilla's got a lot of stuff to look through.
I mean, yeah, she's gonna be working with you to review your images, right?
Yeah, she's got. I did 8 hours of the ones. First thing I did was I went through all the photos of ones I like, and then I took a couple of days off, and then I made it smaller. And basically, you did 6 scenes per day. I'm like 6 scenes per day. So how many photos are I supposed to submit? So I basically figured if it's 6 scenes per day, maybe 6 to 7 photos per scene. And some scenes were pretty hard to get down to 6 to 7, man.
Totally.
I did some of them over, some of them under. Some scenes I was really good at. Some scenes I won. Some scenes I thought I didn't get anything. As you remember, I told Priscilla knows this. I don't know what I got out of Miami, but wow. Yeah, wow. Wow.
And then here we go. So like New York and doing high fashion in New York. Like this was one that we did where we shot at a castle designed to be identical to King Henry VIII's palace from the 1500s. And we shot with models that from Versace, Vogue, Vanity Fair. It was amazing. And
I'm like
something like this. I think Andre is great because what Andre's been doing, you guys, is that Andre has been developing his commercial lifestyle portfolio to, full-on workshops on lifestyle, one in Miami, one in Newport. He's going to do another one in DC. He's looking at doing fashion just to test the waters. And a lot of photographers, love doing that because you go to the heart of fashion in New York, for instance, and we do it following a week after Fashion Week. So all the best models in the world are in town from Milan and Paris, London. And we get the best of the best, the creme de la creme models to shoot with. So I think that'd be a great idea.
What made me want to go lifestyle was because I don't know any lifestyle photographers, and everybody comes. I know when I went to art school in the '80s, everybody wanted to be, Herb Ritz.
Fashion photography, yeah.
Everybody wanted to be Herb Ritz, man.
Absolutely.
And, for me, I was more like a off the beat kind of guy, like a Meisel kind of guy, you know, stuff like that, or even back farther than that. Cause I started looking at photos when I was a teenager.
And you know what,
That's
Andre,
really-
some of these photographers that are also wedding photographers fall in love with these workshops too, because like, for instance, we shoot, we had some wedding photographers attend this workshop, and we styled it so that they could shoot amazing content like this, where we brought in the top model that has been in vogue, and we put her in this epic white dress. So they're able to not only shoot commercial fashion, but then also they're able to translate this to shoot $20,000 wedding jobs.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, if
And
you
get it
come
published.
out with photos like this and you show somebody, because I did weddings, like you, I paid my way through school by doing weddings, and I knew that was not the road I wanted to go, but
Totally.
it was something. It was a way to get myself through school. But I also know if I came back with photos like this for weddings, I know I could have booked a whole lot more money than the bare minimum.
Definitely. Well, Andre, you're making a good decision because you've been investing in your photographic business, and you feel like that's a good return on investment. And I feel like it is as well. I mean, I personally invest about $80,000 a year into my my budget for marketing, developing my book, developing my reel, developing all aspects of my brand as Kevin Michael Schmitz. I'm actually about to invest a heck of a lot more now that I have the castle, because I have to develop that brand. But a lot of photographers, they're not investing enough. If you're only going to invest, $1,000 or a couple $1,000, that doesn't really cut it. Because if you look at any company, I don't care if you're a restaurant, if you're a fashion company, if you're Versace or something like that, they all invest in themselves massively for their marketing, for their development, and their branding. Massively they invest. And I would say, if you're not investing at least 10 or 20,000 a year in developing your marketing, your portfolio, then you're going to be struggling. You're going to be really struggling.
We're only as good as our weakest photo.
Exactly, Andre. Exactly. You're only as strong as your weakest image, and your images are only as strong as the weakest aspect of the image. For instance, if your models aren't A-list, well, I don't care. Throw the pictures out. If your models aren't unbelievable top agency models, they're just mediocre models you found on Model Mayhem or your friends or family or whatever, they're not even worth putting up there.
Don't even get you started with the mayhem.
Exactly. If your models are amazing, but the styling is crap because you didn't hire a top fashion stylist, then forget about it. It's not even worth it. If the hair and the makeup is not there, then you've got troubles. If the location is not great, that's a problem. So all these things, you want to make sure that all aspects of the production are amazing, just like you see here, right? That's why what you're talking about, the photographic currency, now that you have that content in your book, Andre, people are like, okay, all right, Andre, I'm interested in you now.
On that note, they weren't interested until I did the Miami.
Exactly.
I mean, some of the people are reaching back out to me like, I didn't know you did all that. I thought no, I always did this.
Exactly.
But I didn't have this, So for me, since I really done the workshop, I can't sleep at night because I want to do more. I just got to do more. I want more. It's like I want more.
Absolutely.
I'm not trying to blow smoke, but this stuff here it's fun stuff, folks.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's
Andre,
like,
you're a superstar, and you're one of my favorite people that I get to work with, just because you care and you're very dedicated to growing and developing and creating this mind-blowing content. Whether it's Miami, whether it's Newport, whether it's DC, creating all this amazing content. And I also look forward to having you in some of the fashion experiences, because
I'm coming. I just got to get my act together and try. I'm just trying to get everything. Well, when you work alone, you try to do it all on your own.
Absolutely.
So now you got people. Can I help?
But
you
Andre, how do you like having Priscilla at your fingertips? Because you're not just all on your own, and Priscilla's there to help you as your photographer.
Yeah, it took me a while. Well, it took me a while to get everything going, because sometimes I feel like I reach out to her, I don't hear from her, but then I hear from her. Like she says, she emails me. Sometimes she doesn't email. She does, but I don't see the emails anywhere. But she always seems to text me whenever crap hits the fan. I know I can pick up the phone and call her or text her. So I do like working with Priscilla. It took me a while though. It took me a while because I had a different coach, and then I got her as a coach, and I would like this whole thing was new to me. And I've been in this business for a while, and I kind of know I've done different work. So I've done an Edie Adams workshop back in the 80s, and it's nothing like this. And I did the Edie Adams back in the 80s, and we went to Miami Beach. And after I did the Miami Beach, when I was like, wow, this is impressive. I'm in. I'm in.
I love it. I love it.
I'm
Andre.
in.
And,
That's
and
all I can
thanks for
tell
the
you.
comments in the chat. You know, Crystal Bear, you commented the workshops don't give you just amazing photographs, but confidence plus connections. Meeting Andre in Newport was so wonderful. He is sharing how he's using the images to get new clients. So thank you, Crystal, because Crystal Bear was at the Newport workshop as well. As many of, actually, almost everybody at the Newport workshop is on this webinar right now, which is really fantastic.
That was great. I mean, to be honest with you, it's also awesome working with other creatives that are around the United States or around the world, other than somebody in Philadelphia or New York.
Yeah.
Nobody had an ego. You know, I mean, we're all willing to help each other. Maybe I help somebody out and something didn't work because it's my fault, or I don't know. You know,
no, everybody had an amazing time, and we're highly selective about who we allow in because we want to make sure everybody has a great experience. I see David Goff is in here. You were wonderful to work with, David. Andre, you got to meet with David. You got to work with him both in Miami and in Newport. And I can't wait to work with you again, David. That you're just such an awesome inspiration. And David even published a book called Chains on the Brain, and it's an amazing photographic book that David Goff has published as well. The great Hans J. Paul is on. He's taken the last like 11 out of 13 workshops with us. He's been an absolute inspiration, and his portfolio is mind-blowing. He's on.
Yeah, my thing about Hans is if you're stuck with the scene, let Hans go.
Hans is a beast. He knows how to direct, and he has worked with me dedicated to make amazing images.
He's creative. He's creative.
Yeah. I see Linda Barrett on here. We just had you in Newport. You were wonderful. Great energy, Linda. And it's super talented photographer as always. The great Michael Troxel, he was on there as my amazing camera operator. And then I see, you know, some of these photographers I get to see coming up at some upcoming workshops, like Paul Batson. I'm excited to see you, man. Felinda Roy, Prince Williams, gonna get to hang out with you next week, which I'm stoked about. We've got so many amazing photographers on here. Tom Marintet, I've gotten to work with you at the masterclass. We've worked in Newport together a few times. You've come around the country with me and all over the place to these epic experiences. And Tom, you're such an inspiration. He, you know, is an older gentleman that just absolutely loves photography and creates unbelievable content. I'm always just mystified at what Tom puts together and creates. So Tom, it's so good to see you on here. I mean, honestly, just about everybody that attended the workshop is on this webinar right now. So it's awesome to see. And somebody had asked about the castle experience. So I did want to showcase this to you guys. And this is a 6-day workshop experience at my 49-room castle in France. And it is a mind-blowing experience where we bring in top supermodels from Milan and Paris, and you get 4 massive shoot days on location at the castle. And it is unbelievable. We have not only 49 rooms, there's 17 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms. We have a giant, we have a dungeon, we have 2 wine cellars, and the whole castle built in the 1280s originally, and then rebuilt in the 1500s. And then the final touches in the early 1800s was also built atop a 2,000-year-old Roman palace. So it is a pretty incredible experience. But anyway, thank you so much, Andre, for joining us. You were such an inspiration, and I'm really excited about the next steps for you, Andre.
I'm just going to keep hustling so I can keep coming back, man.
Love it. I love it.
That's my job. I got to hustle to keep coming, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. All right. Take care, Andre. And I'd love for the great Priscilla Evans to jump on as well, because Priscilla, you know, she is one of the amazing wonders that makes all this magic happen. She works as a production coordinator and photographic consultant with me. You guys get to see all this amazing stuff, everything from the castle that she manages. She's flying there in a couple of weeks, actually, to, you know, bringing all these unbelievable experiences and animals to the workshops, producing stuff behind the scenes, and working with photographers. And she's absolutely dedicated to her photographers, and many of the photographers that are on right now, she works with personally to coach them. So if you guys are interested in working with somebody like Priscilla or any of the other people on our team who are absolutely wonderful, we would strongly encourage you guys to set up a dedicated momentum session with one of our photographic consultants so that you guys can have a one-on-one Zoom session with them, and you can go over your photographic portfolio. You can go over strategies. If you want to explode in the whole commercial lifestyle space and you want to be more successful, if you want, you know, anything that you need as far as that is concerned, we're here to help you, and it's totally free. It's totally free. And the reason we do that is I am personally dedicated to making sure that photographers become more successful, that have take it to the next level and compete at a higher level than they ever thought possible, to build confidence and build the greatest images and video content they've ever shot in their lifetime. So I'm giving you guys that opportunity. And I strongly recommend you take advantage of it. Whether you're interested in, and if you're interested in one of our 5-day experiences or the castle experience, or coming to one of the marketing workshop or the retouching for photographers workshop on April 9th, also let them know as well. So, all right, Priscilla, I'd love for you to jump on and talk with us a little bit about what it means as far as like what the value of these experiences, if you want to get into commercial lifestyle, because many of you guys are all on this webinar because, you know, we wanted to learn about commercial lifestyle photography. What do you coach your photographers on? What do they need that they can get at the workshops as far as portfolio, connections? What kind of things benefit them the most to achieve the kind of goals, and what kind of challenges that they normally run into in their everyday lives?
Yeah, thanks so much, Kevin. And thank you, Andre. That's so nice of you to say all that. And it was such a pleasure working with you at the workshops. I know I'm slowly becoming a bit more like those people at ad agencies, aren't I, where I don't always respond on this exact same day with my emails, but phones I always do. Always pick up the phone and I'll always text back. So that's a good lesson for everyone out there, actually, is, you know, and something I do coach photographers on is like, you know, the little system, your marketing systems, whatever you've got going on, to always do that follow-up and, you know, to do the phone calls and to try and make yourself memorable in, you know, the mind of whoever you're trying to get into and work with. So yeah, we have so much going on. There are, I think I put a list up there in the chat before of all the animals we've had at different workshops in the last year, or just some of them. And all of the elements, like the really special elements, the surprising elements that go into like enhancing the value of every single production. And, you know, for attendees, like I know Andre was saying, you know, with Miami, it was kind of almost overwhelming, like the first workshop he came to. And I think that, you know, the workshops are one thing. Remember, and I really want to drill this into any of, especially the attendees, but anyone out there who is maybe not yet, you know, booking the jobs of the scale that they want. You know, maybe they're in like the low 5 figures and they're wanting to go bigger, or they're wanting to break into 6 figures, or just, you know, grow, whatever that means for you. Remember that, like, honestly, for commercial lifestyle, the jobs, the scale of the jobs, the actual job itself is often a lot smaller than what we do at the workshop. It's often kind of similar to what you're already shooting right now. Maybe there's some different elements, they want different art direction, or they want it to be bigger, but the budgets aren't necessarily correlated with like stress level or intensity or amount of scenes. Like, it doesn't necessarily relate. And that's something that I think a lot of photographers don't realize, is that there's a huge amount of money on the table. There are so many opportunities. You know, there's no need to feel competitive. There are so many out there for everyone. You just have to reach out. You have to do the connecting. You have to do the marketing and have something amazing to show them, you know, and that's the brand. The brand is the easy part. Then I think the hard part, which, you know, Andre's brilliant. He follows directions so well, and he's connecting with, but maybe pop it in the chat, Andre, but how many are you reaching out to on LinkedIn every day? Is it like 25 or 30 every single day? You're adding those, you know, on LinkedIn. You've got it down. It's gone from developing it into a habit. It's now a habit. So like, congrats, because that's awesome. You're well on the way. And, you know, a lot of it is just being front of mind and being, you know, fresh and current. And that means, you know, print promo pieces, which I'm always happy to look at and say, yep, those 3 images work really well together, or no, it kind of doesn't fit, or just, you know, my first impression is. And that's often good to get, you know, some advice about that, especially from, you know, the point of your websites and looking at all of that. You know, websites, it can be great to have lots of folders on there because you feel like, yeah, I've got, you know, so much to show. But in real life, like, how much time is that person going to give you? Are they going to look and decide pretty much on that front page? Is your phone number and your email up there on every single page of your website, or every part when they're scrolling? Is it always visible? If not, and if you've got any forum, the web forms that you fill in, you know, you're not going to get booked. You're already missing out on money. So just little things like that, it can be great to just, you know, tick off the checklist. And with lifestyle, I think that in that portfolio, it's got to be fresh, current, cohesive. You know, it's got to fit and flow together really well. And it's also, you know, got to be exciting and memorable. And that's where, you know, all of the production elements make it look really memorable. And for a lot of photographers, you know, if you're really busy out there and you don't have a lot of time, the workshops are a great solution to that too, because you come, you know, you spend a couple of days or a week or whatever, and you've got your branding content for the year done, you know, and for longer than that. You know, we're very careful as well about wardrobe and things like that to not go for trends, especially in the lifestyle workshops. We really do carefully choose the wardrobe based upon, okay, what's going to look good, you know, a couple years from now, what's still going to appear really fresh in the way that we shoot it or film it. You know, trends, quick one that comes to mind, high-waisted jeans. Like they're in, they're out, they're in, they're out. Doesn't always look good or render well on camera. But, you know, like shorts, generally always in, especially if you go with the right cut. So, you know, things like that, that we work alongside, you know, wardrobe stylists and, you know, Kevin and amazing, you know, people in the industry that we get to collaborate with. But yeah, definitely always happy to give advice, always happy to coach on those estimates as well. You know, part of what I do and the workshop as well, the way that the price and the investment of them, it actually doesn't just include the workshop. It really does include lifelong coaching. You know, if you want it, we'll give as much as you want to take. So, you know, that can look like looking at estimates and going through it. And even if it doesn't mean getting more out of the client, even if that's the max budget they've got, often it can be a big difference between what you're walking away with and what otherwise would have been left, you know, for someone else. And it's not a, you know, huge difference in the work. It's just a different way of looking at it and coming at it through that lens of the business rather than just the photography side. So yeah, I love what we do. The lifestyle workshops are intense and they're exciting and they're amazing. And the fashion editorial workshops are just as, you know, gorgeous and great for building the brand. But the lifestyle, they seem to have taken off. I think, especially during COVID, they've taken off. They're always the ones that are booked first. Newport, which Andre came to, was booked up like almost from last year's Newport. We'd almost filled this one. So it was crazy. But I think people like the industry and photographers, they're starting to see the value in, you know, lifestyle. That means multiple model sequences, you know, high energy scenes, stories, you know, all of that. And there's a lot more value in that than just single model or, you know, single person like portraits, even if that's all you do, it's portrait photography. You know, lifestyle photography in your portfolio has huge value. So yeah, it's about being specific to the client, specific to each individual prospective client, and yeah, having as much fun as we can on the way.
Well, thank you so much for that, Priscilla. You're amazing. And I feel like our photographers are so fortunate to have access to these amazing photographic consultants like Priscilla, like Lisa, who's going to be jumping on as well. And Lisa, I'd love for you to also tell us kind of your perspective, because you are new to our team. But Lisa, you got to experience the Newport workshop that Priscilla was at, as well as many of these other photographers like Andre and such, that are you know, that are there in person. And I'd love for you to talk a little bit about your experience, because you just joined our team recently and you got the experience to be there in person in Newport for the first time. What was your perception of that, and how, as a photographer, do you think it can benefit you, Lisa?
Well, as you can see, as soon as you started talking about Newport and attending in person, I started smiling. That's pretty much what I did from start to finish, because seeing it on Zoom meetings, going through the website, hearing about it, all of that is a good indication, but it's nothing like going in person. And like Andre said, you know, six scenes a day for 5 days with literally herds and hordes of people and animals and photographers and makeup artists and everything to coordinate. You did an amazing job of doing that. And of course, Priscilla in her role as production manager, and all of the other 30 to 40 people, not counting the photographers who were attending. All of the work that goes in behind the scenes made it fabulous for the photographers who were attending, because they got time to take their pictures, take the shots that you set up, as well as take their own take. So they had plenty of time to do that. They also had time to bond with each other. Everybody would rush over and I remember everybody huddling up, like Andre and Linda and Tommy. We'd all be huddled over looking at our photograph in our little tiny lens finder, going, "What'd you get? What'd you get?" And I enjoyed watching. Everybody who attended got to command the set, which is all part of what is discussed. But it's one, like I said, it's one thing to know it happens and another to see it happen. The other thing I'd like to mention is the photography workshop is a good fit for absolutely every age and every stage, because we had photographers as young as just a couple of years out of grad school for photography, all the way up to 70 somethings and 80 somethings. And that's a great thing about photography. You can continue to work long after, quote, retirement age. So we had photographers in all ages and stages. We have some that have been shooting professionally for years, some that are just a fresh face, up and coming, some that are switching gears from maybe adding the lifestyle component to other areas. But no matter what everybody no matter what everybody's interests are, they got something they could use, and they got it quickly. As you said, sometimes it can take years to get the portfolio that they got in just a few days here. And that doesn't happen by accident. It takes lots of planning. And we do one every month. So we have a lifestyle, we know, just like marketing, and that's my expertise. It's like rinse, wash, repeat, rinse, wash, repeat. You know, you have to keep doing it. And so we will help you as much as you would like to be helped, or feel that you need to have a question that a lot of my photographers are solo one person businesses. And that means sometimes you'd like to just run a question or a thought or an idea by someone else who's been there and done that. And that's a lot of what happened at the workshop too. So you get a lot of things, like Crystal said, you have the intangibles of building your confidence and being able to talk with other photographers about challenges you have. You can talk with our photo consultants. You can ask Kevin. There's a wealth of knowledge and information. And if we don't know the answer, we'll figure it out. So it's a lot of fun. And it's a lot of work, but it's inspiring to me to work with photographers who are creative and make the world a better place. And it's also inspiring to me if I can bring my business perspective. I have a background in marketing and advertising. And like Priscilla says, you want to make sure that you got to make them do a double take. And that's what your portfolio does. So that's step one, get your portfolio. Step two is market your portfolio consistently. And you can't do one without the other. So it doesn't matter how great your portfolio is if you don't tell anybody about it. So we're here to help you. We're here to help you if you're holding your nose on the marketing part and you don't want to do that. That's when you call for your backup, your Jiminy Cricket conscience, let your conscience be your guide. And I'll be the one going, get out there and market. You might only have to do it a couple hours a day, but you're going to have to do that, and we will help you with that and any other questions or concerns that you have.
100%. I'm glad you suggested that, Lisa, because being a commercial photographer, just like we talked about, it's much more than just taking great pictures. You got to have that world-class portfolio, but it starts with not only developing that brand and having the great images and video, but then marketing it and getting it out there and getting it in front of people and getting it in front of the right art buyers and creative directors and photo editors at magazines, all the important people. And that's absolutely critical. And that's why we are here to guide our photographers, to help our photographers and make sure that they have access to that, make sure that they are shooting the greatest images of their lifetime, because it's so important to me to be able to do that. So you're so right. And you gave some great guidance and advice. And Lisa is one of my absolute favorite photographic consultants. And I encourage you guys to set up a consult with her as well, because she's absolutely amazing. So please set that up in the chat. Thank you so much, Lisa. And it's so wonderful to have you on the team. All right, guys. So you guys also have a lot of other amazing questions I did want to answer in here. There's just a million questions. So if I don't get to it, I'm sorry, but we can set up a dedicated one-on-one session with you and we can get to it later so that we can answer all of your questions, because I want to make sure we do this and give you as much value as we possibly can. Okay. So I did have another question in here that I did want to address. One of the photographers asked about the media buying, about, how do I do that? It's a great question. This is something we talk about in our workshops in person, and we go in depth about how we can do that and act as an agency. And we can show you how to do it step by step. But essentially, it's honestly not hard at all. It's super easy. It literally takes a phone call. Takes a phone call. That's it. Literally takes me like this job that we were just talking about, and I was showing you the $1.5 million media buy. It literally took me, it took me 2 phone calls because I called 2 different media companies. I talked with them in person and expressed that I'm shooting this commercial job, both video and photographic, and that, I'm handling the media buy. This is the budget. Can you work this into the budget? They came up with a media plan for me. And then they also baked in those costs into the plan and then provided that to me. And then I provided that to the client. It was easy. And then it's up to the client to then, I have to sell the client now on which plan, if it's 1.5 million or is it million or whatever that is, that's your job to, to basically finalize that with the final contract with the $200,000 job. But that's something I can teach you in person, and I can showcase the step-by-step process to be able to make, $500,000 to $750,000 on a job like that. It's not, and that's honestly, it's a lot. It sounds like it's a lot, but it's not uncommon. These jobs are out there. Photographers are booking them. Directors are booking these all the time. And you don't have to go through an ad agency. Ad agencies, although I work with ad agencies all the time, more and more and more brands are working outside of agencies. And that's important to realize. All right, guys. But thank you for all these great questions and comments. Thank you for all these amazing panelists that have been on, and also the photographers that got to join us, which is fantastic. And I'm just going to answer a few more of these questions. Let's see. Okay. So Adam Loeffler asks, I've seen a few different questions, suggestions for licensing options and tried out a few of them. In your opinion, what is the best way to license photographs for commercial shoots? Great question, Adam. So for licensing photographs, it's dependent on if it's a local, like in your, if local, regional, statewide, national, international. So it's going to be based upon that. Generally, I ask right off the bat, what's the media buy? How much are they spending on the full buy? And oftentimes a creative director might not want to tell you, or they might not know, but if you can always inquire, because if they're asking you for pricing, then you need to ask them for, well, how much is the spend, or how much is the actual media buy? And I will base it on that. Generally 10 to 15% of that buy, so if it's $1 million buy, should be about $100,000 usage on that. Now, oftentimes I'll shoot a campaign for a client, I'll negotiate something up front, and I'll set a usage fee for a term. So say 1-year term for a certain region or national or whatever. And then oftentimes they'll come back and buy more. Like for instance, when I shoot for Smirnoff, Miller Lite, Coors Light, all these big brands, or Pepsi, for instance, with Smirnoff, they came back and bought usage for Canada. After they hired me to shoot for the US. After the next year, they wanted to come back and buy for Canada. Well, I have to, gauge that as far as how much is the media buy in Canada. Obviously, it's less than US, so you have to adjust it accordingly and then offer it. But one of my other secrets to being a successful commercial lifestyle photographer is use this as leverage. If you have the opportunity to license photographs, what I would do is the first thing I would do, if you're not represented by an agent, and even if you are represented by an agent, I like to call up 5 to 10 agents and get their opinions. Okay. And if we do that and we're contacting agents, and then ask them, you can also ask me, I'll tell you what I think is going to be the right usage on the job. But I do this all the time. This is how I've been represented by 4 different agents in my career, including top tier agents like JP Reps that rep some of the biggest celebrity photographers in the world. JP Reps rep me for 3 years, and he's also still a really good friend. And I've had him on as a panelist at our workshops about 6 times because he's amazing. But he reps some of the big photographers like John Russo and such. I would call up agents like this and contact 5 to 10 agents and ask their opinion. Hey, I have this client, shot this campaign, or I shot these images, they want to license. How much do you think I should charge? Now, the client, the photography agent will probably talk to you, because you know what, if they, you're out of the blue, that's okay. If you're talking about a photographic job, they just want to get commission. So the chances of them getting now interested in you go way up. They become really excited because not only are you asking them a great question, but now they're like, oh, wow, Adam, you've got a project. Oh, maybe I'll represent you on that. And that's what you're looking for. And I would say, sure, even if they're not even a part of the job yet, I would offer them a piece, be like, sure, you can represent me on this one-off job, you know, and then if it all works out, maybe they'll represent you full-time and be on their roster. Okay. Greg Brooks asks, how do you create a video reel? Great question. Obviously, we talked about that earlier. Developing epic content to put together that's at the scale of broadcast quality. The problem we always have is that when creating video reels, unless you have a client paying for it, you know, like this, it's really challenging to develop level of quality of the content at this scale. That's why my video reel not only has commercial jobs I've done, also my television projects, but also it incorporates about 50% of the content here is from my photographic workshops I've directed. So because the workshops are so epic, I'm putting it in here. And that's what I would suggest is getting involved in one of our epic workshops. And if you want a commercial lifestyle reel, definitely come to our commercial lifestyle workshops. You know, whether it's Miami Beach, whether it's DC, whether it's Newport Beach, whether it's Chicago, develop that video reel there with us, and we will create that massive scale production with world-class top models and styling, which a lot of times when people develop their reels, they don't have that level of quality of talent, because a lot of people in the video industry don't have access to the models. It's more of just regular people or actors if they're starting out. So I recommend get access to the top models that I get to work with. These are the best in the industry. And you can use this content to start marketing yourself at the highest level. That's what I would mention, Greg. And if you haven't already, set up a one-on-one strategy session so we can go more in depth about that. Okay, another anonymous attendee says, I'm a commercial photographer and have had a rep, but have had mixed results. Do you have any candid thoughts on if that works for you, or have you ever had a rep in the past? And yes, obviously, I have had reps in the past. And I've had mixed results too, but overall, I've had a great experience. I've been repped by AA reps out of New York at the ripe old age of, I think I was 25 when I got repped for the first time. I was either 24 or 25. I was young buck, and I had some incredible experiences where I was like, you know what? I want to be repped because I want to be a top photographer in the industry. So I think that all the top photographers are repped. I should be repped. So I started contacting, literally, I got a list of about 100 reps in America and started calling all of them and emailing them and soliciting the representation. Of course, most of them don't want to hear from me, but I had an interesting story for you guys. I developed this amazing body of work. I had this great little fashion portfolio that I was showing them because I was hustling and I was shooting editorials and stuff. And I had some cool stuff to show them. I got an agent named Joe Lombardo in New York. And he was really interested in representing me. Okay. And I hadn't been represented yet. And he was like, okay, I am, you know, he expressed interest. Yeah, I like your work. I like your style, Kevin. You know, why don't you send me your book? And I was like, awesome. But I didn't have a book. I didn't have a portfolio. I didn't even know where to begin. Okay. I didn't have a portfolio and like a physical portfolio, and he wanted to see one. Now, granted, this was, you know, a few years back. This is back, you know, this was maybe 15 years ago or so, 13 years ago, I think it was. But he was like, hey, send me your book. So I had to scramble to put one together. So I went to like a Blick Art store, and I bought like this big black leather $200 portfolio with like spiral bound. And I put together all the pictures that were on my website, printed them out, spent the time, put them in the portfolio. It took me hours and hours and hours, hundreds of dollars, and I mailed it to him. And you guess what happened? Didn't hear from him. Didn't hear from him. I kept following up over and over and over again, emailing him, calling him. Finally, weeks later, I get a hold of Joe, and he talks to me, and he's like, Kevin, I'm like, hey, or I was like, Joe, hey, what did you think of my book? And he's like, Kevin, this is absolute shit. It is absolute crap, and I'm going to throw it away. And I'm like, no, don't throw it away. I just spent like $300 and $400 on this thing. Please don't throw it away. Just mail it back to me. This is absolute shit. And I'm like, well, what is it? You love my portfolio. Why don't you like the portfolio I mailed? You said these are all the same images on the website. What's the problem? And he's like, well, it's not presented properly. I can never show something that's flimsy and crappy to my clientele. I could never show them something that this, you know, low quality, as he called it, to his clientele. And you know what? Hard lesson to learn. I mean, he basically completely crushed my soul. But I was like, you know, for me, I didn't care. It was a lesson. And it was a lesson that it's worth its weight in gold. And I still said, okay, great. Well, what do I need to do? Okay, it has to be a 3 post bound portfolio. It has to be in a certain format. I recommend like a leather or a suede or a bamboo or metal or something kind of cool to put on your portfolio. This is your commercial portfolio to show to ad agencies. You've got to have something awesome, right? So it's like, okay, all right, now, so this is the portfolio that we need to show. It's got to be amazing and it's got to be something substantial. So you know what I did? I went through and I actually hired a bookbinder and I put together a real portfolio, a portfolio that was professional, a portfolio that was actually, I had it bound by a bookbinder. And this is actually, I'm going to show you guys my very first portfolio when I started out. And this is made by a professional bookbinder. And it's made out of blue suede. And then you open it up and it's got images like this, showcasing my editorial photography. Now, if I was to do this again, I would make everything full bleed and everything like that. But this is more of what they were looking for at the time. Okay. And this is more of a, you know, a professional portfolio. This is something of more what he was looking for. And when I ended up making a portfolio like that, this is actually another one right here. This is actually a larger scale one that I have, and it even has my name embossed at the bottom in metal. And it has, this is actually some of my work from many, many years ago, but this is another style. And then now I have actually some metal portfolios that I have as well. And I, you know, so to me, I feel like, you know, it is really important to learn those lessons, go up and try to get represented by agents, ask their advice, and then also have an epic portfolio. Even in this day and age, even in this world, we still, I think it's important because if you ever meet with somebody in person, have that printed portfolio ready to rock, because it is absolutely key. We can coach you on it. Our photographic consultants are here for you in setting up a photographic momentum session. Very, very, very important, I think, because I want to make sure you guys have everything at your disposal and make sure that your portfolio is absolutely world class. Okay. Now, if you guys haven't answered in the poll, please do. Which photographic workshops would you be interested in? You know, whether it's DC, Vegas, you know, New York, Miami, the French Castle, or whatever, please answer in the poll and let us know, because I definitely want you guys to indicate that, because I'd love to see what ones you guys are interested in and also which ones we should schedule for the following year. And develop a portfolio that's world-class, whether it's commercial lifestyle, whether it's fashion. Develop a body of work that is something that is powerful and iconic so that clients get excited about you. And that way, now you can be a world-class photographer at the highest level and you can achieve the success you've always dreamed of. Very, very important. All right. So, all right. And then the last couple of questions here. Michael Tucker asked, how do you go about getting your work in front of the right people? Priscilla answered this, but I would strongly recommend, Michael, set up a strategy session with Priscilla if you haven't already, because I really want to make sure that we can go in depth about this, Michael, as far as getting your work in front of the decision makers that you want to work for. So if there's a certain brand, like I've shot a $175,000 campaign for Pepsi. Well, to get in front of Pepsi, I had to find out what are the 5 ad agencies at the time that represented Pepsi. And I needed to build relationships with the art buyers and the creative directors. And I needed to specifically target them through email, print promos, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. And then I set up a meeting. And when I was represented, I was represented by AA reps in New York at the time, because I got my first agent when I was like 24, 25. After that experience with Joe, I ended up signing with AA reps out of New York. And I was able to go in and meet with them in person, book jobs for them, shot a Smirnoff campaign for them, shot Pepsi for them, etc. And I was doing this when I was 24. You know, and so if, you know, I think that many of you guys, if you haven't done this already, there's no reason to keep waiting. There is no reason. They are booking jobs right now. And I want to make sure that each and every one of you guys has an opportunity to succeed. Okay. Because the opportunities that, you know, obviously there's a lot of competition, but we're here to help make you as successful as possible, guys. That's what we're here for. All right. So I can't wait to see what you guys all come up with. I'm super excited about the epic, massive scale production we have in Las Vegas next week. And if you guys are interested in creating the greatest fashion images of your lifetime or commercial lifestyle images of your lifetime, join us, get a hold of us, and we will help guide you and take it to the next level. Take care, guys. And I can't wait to work with you.